Welcome back here to CBS Sports HQ at 1-11. The Titans not only have the worst record in the NFL, but they also have been officially eliminated from the playoffs after their 25-3 loss to the Jags on Sunday. Now let's take a look at their remaining schedule. They've got just 5 games left, and that is going to start with the Browns, and that is this week. And then also, look who else is popping up there. It's the New York Giants at 2-11. So here's their remaining schedule. And they are coming off a Monday night loss to New England. They were the first team to be eliminated, by the way, from the playoffs. So it is a perfect time now for us to go mock drafting. And you can take a look at Ryan Wilson's 2026 mock draft from picks 1 through 10 we've got right here. And it's a perfect time now for us to welcome in Ryan Wilson. All right, Ryan, so you've got the Giants taking, with that #1 overall pick, with the second overall pick, Caleb Downs, and then you've got also the Titans with that #1 pick taking Ohio State linebacker Arvell Reese. So defense, really the route to go, it seems like, with both of these teams as they have struggled this season. Do you think that still holds come around next year?
Hey, Tiffany, good to see you. Yeah, so the Titans aren't in a great position. Last year they had the first overall pick. They got Cam Ward. He's the right guy for the job. They have to sort out a bunch of other things. But if you're sitting there at #1 overall in a quarterback class in 2026, they could be incredibly thin. You're begging for some team to want to trade up. If that doesn't happen, and I didn't do trades in this mock draft, I had the Titans going with Arvell Reese, the best player in this draft class, quarterback or otherwise. He came into the season over the summer. He was a guy that was intriguing, but no one on planet Earth, probably including Arvell, thought that he would make his way into the first round and climb up draft boards as quickly as he has. He reminds me a lot in terms of the way he plays of Abdul Carter, who was a top 3 pick last year, currently with the Giants. Struggles to show up for meetings, but that's not the point. And Micah Parsons, who was also at Penn State several years ago, and we know how good he has been in Dallas and now in Green Bay. Arvell isn't that size physically, but the things he can do in the versatility is bonkers, and that's why I have him going first overall if there's no trade down. And he's been so good, Tiffany, that we're barely talking about Caleb Downs, who everyone knew about last year, the former Alabama transfer who balled out for Ohio State a year ago, is doing that now. And I have him going to the Giants because while they need a ton of things, that offensive line is actually holding up pretty well, and Giants fans are tired of me taking offensive linemen in the first round for them and Jackson Dart. So I went with Caleb Downs, a surefire player that's going to translate immediately. But again, if you're either the Giants or Tennessee or whoever ends up with a first-round pick that doesn't need a quarterback, you are begging for some team to want to trade up for a player like, say, Fernando Mendoza, who's having a great season at Indiana.
I'm glad you brought up Mendoza because he is having a great season, and he's amongst the 3 quarterbacks that you have to be selected in the first round in your mock draft. So Mendoza, Dante Moore, and Ty Simpson, and those guys in order going to the Saints, to Cleveland, and to the Jets. Are we still looking for this to possibly happen? And Cleveland, by the way, quite interesting. You have them in the mix again for a quarterback.
Yeah, Cleveland and the Saints took a quarterback with the 40th overall pick last year in Tyler Shough. But history has shown us when teams are picking high in the draft, top 5, top 10 picks, and there's a quarterback that they like, it does not matter what they have done previously. It is curious, of course, that the Browns took 2 quarterbacks in rounds 3 and 5 a year ago. Currently, round 5 version, Shedeur Sanders is playing, and we'll see how that plays out. I think a lot's going to happen for him to keep his job, or Dylan Gabriel, or in New Orleans, Tyler Shough. But in terms of this quarterback class, Fernando Mendoza feels like the surest thing, given how well he's played on an Indiana team that's been so much fun to watch. The other 2 players, Dante Moore at Oregon and Ty Simpson at Alabama, have not played a lot of football. And there's a very real possibility when you talk to scouts on the West Coast that Dante Moore is likely to come back, even though he's played at a high level. And Ty Simpson, who's only started the games this season, could very well come back. Here's the one thing I mentioned. This is why I have him going in this order. Fernando Mendoza feels like the safest pick. Dante Moore has huge upside, and he's played extremely well this year. And then Ty Simpson's a close second behind Dante Moore, 2A, if you will. And the reason Ty Simpson's where he is, Tiffany, is because for as clinical as he's been on short and intermediate throws within 25 yards of the line of scrimmage, when he's asked to throw the ball deep, he is one of the worst passers, not only this season, but going back to the Joe Burrow draft in 2019. So that's some things he's going to have to sort out. Teams going to have questions about if they're going to draft him. Everything else, he is playing at such a high level. But the deep ball, the lack of deep ball accuracy against someone that's Ryan Williams struggling to hold on to the ball, has shown up week in and week out. That said, he's still a first-round pick if he decides to come out. So we'll have to wait and see how this all plays out.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how that ends up working out in 2026. All right, you've got a duo out of Miami rounding out your top 10. And so you've got offensive lineman Francis Mauigoa and then defensive lineman Ruben Bain. So what do you like about this pair?
Yeah, Mauigoa is an earth grader, an earth mover, whatever other adjective you want to use for someone who plays with an edge. Plays right tackle now, and depending on who you talk to, sometimes teams like to kick guys inside without giving them an opportunity to show that they can play tackle. I think Mauigoa can do that all day. I have him going to the Rams. And Matthew Stafford's going to play forever. I mean, it certainly feels like he might. Continue to upgrade the offensive line. They have some guys coming up on contracts. By the way, to help out Matthew Stafford in his sunset years and to continue to bolster the offensive line. And Mauigoa has been great this season. His teammate on the other side of the ball, Ruben Bain Jr., has played like the first overall pick with how tenacious he has been as an edge rusher. The concerns with him, Tiffany, are going to be this, and they're going to come up time and again, fair or not, and I'm sure Ruben Bain will be happy to prove everyone wrong. He is going to measure to have short arms, and I don't necessarily care about it, but NFL teams do, and they're going to be historically short, probably sub 31 inches. On average, guys who go in the top 10 have 33 or higher inch arms as an edge rusher, and that's the minutia, but that's also the reality. He's also undersized. He's not thin. He weighs about 270, but at 6'1.5", 6'2", could be some concerns as well, excuse me. So those are things to keep in mind. All that said, we've seen the Bengals draft on physical tools in Shamar Stewart, and it hasn't yet worked out. Get the guy who's absolutely balled out in college, Ruben Bain Jr., and now you have something you can work with for the Bengals.
Funny you mentioned short arms, even though he was an offensive lineman. You know Ross Tucker?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has short arms. So he always makes fun of it and says it still worked out for him. So maybe it will work out for Bain as well. All right, you got the Vikings, and they may be getting the best running back of the draft in Jeremiah Love. How can he help this Vikings team that obviously could use a win in some regard? Maybe not the rest of the season, but certainly when it comes to the draft.
Yeah, absolutely. And the two words that he can help the most are J.J. McCarthy, because we've seen J.J. McCarthy struggle at a historically not great level. And I wrote about this for CBS Sports this week. Going back to the 2026 team draft class with Jared Goff, the only quarterback that has been less consistent than J.J. McCarthy, and their 35 first-round picks in that stretch, was Jared Goff. 34 is JJ. So what helps a young quarterback, an offensive line, and they drafted Donovan Jackson this year. They got Christian Darrisaw back, and a running game, and that's what Jeremiah Love gives you. Aaron Jones has been pretty good when he's been healthy, but he hasn't been lights out Aaron Jones of old. And I think Jeremiah Love solves a lot of problems in the way he runs the ball, and also he is effective as a pass catcher coming out of the backfield. There's a lot JJ has to work on. Turning around and handing the ball off is not one of them, and I think Jordan Love goes a long way in making JJ's life a lot easier.
All right, Jordan Tyson, you've got the Arizona receiver going to the Bills, and we know Josh Allen has an arm, so why is Tyson a guy that he can go deep to?
Yeah, I think Brandon Beane, the GM, did a fantastic job last draft of stocking up the defense, and they went after defensive player after defensive player. The first 5 picks, I believe, were on the defensive side of the ball, and they got a blocking tight end in Jackson Haas, who's been really good. One of the concerns that Bills fans have voiced frequently is that there's no one to throw the ball to. They drafted Keon Coleman in the first round a year ago. He was benched 2 of the last 3 games before coming back last week against the Steelers, and so I had them taking someone like Jordan Tyson, who is a big physical wide receiver, but who can stride out. I would have taken Denzel Boston here if you're asking me to rank my wide receivers, Tiffany, but the issue is, and I know this is going to come up, he's going to get comped to Keon Coleman, so I decided to go away from that. Let's go with Jordan Tyson, who is a big catch radius, down the field playmaker. He needs to stay healthy, and he's battled that, but I think he gives something that Josh Allen hasn't seen since Steph Diggs was traded away, and that's a guy who can consistently make plays down the field outside of Khalil Shakir and those tight ends, and your running back in James Cook.
All right, Bears and Patriots with picks at 31 and then the 32nd. So who's going to fit with Mike Vrabel and Ben Johnson? 2 guys, by the way, who have shown they have a knack for working with young talent.
Yeah, what a time to be alive where 2 first-year coaches are seeds 1 and 2 in the hunt for the Super Bowl in their respective conferences. Also making the last 2 picks in the first round. So shout out to Ben Johnson and Mike Vrabel. What are they going to do? I'll start with Ben Johnson. They got Caleb Lomi, the left tackle, out of Utah. He's still growing into his role. He's got 2 years now as a starter on the left side. He was so good that they kicked their right tackle, Fernando, to the right side. He's a little light, and by that I mean he weighs about 305 unofficially, so he'll probably need to gain 10 to 15 pounds. But he is really good in pass protection. He is getting better in run protection, and the whole idea is to continue to protect Caleb Williams, who we do know has a history of holding the ball too long. For the Patriots, David Bailey, who is a hair-on-fire edge rusher out of Texas Tech. He's not the highest end of athlete, but when you're picking in the bottom 5, 6, 7 picks of round 1, Tiffany, you want to get someone who can come in and contribute right away. They don't have to be the best athlete on planet Earth, but they have to be good at their jobs. And David Bailey has shown at Texas Tech he can absolutely get after the quarterback, and he feels like a Mike Vrabel type edge rusher. Vrabel, by the way, 3rd round pick as an edge rusher out of Ohio State back in the day. No one knew exactly what to do with him. All he did was dominate for those Patriots teams, and now he's doing exactly that as the head coach in New England in year 1.
Yeah, they've definitely been fun to watch. All right, it's never too early to mock draft. So, Ryan, thank you so much. And, of course, for more insight on everything NFL and the mock draft, of course, with the first pick, you can check out that podcast right now amongst the CBS Sports podcasts or scan that QR code right now on your phone.